At the beginning of the story, we learn about a man named Xu Wenwu who lived thousands of years ago. One day, he discovers 10 mysterious rings. These aren't just jewelry, they're ancient weapons that give him godlike power and basically make him immortal. Instead of using that power wisely, Wenwu becomes obsessed with gaining even more control. He eventually creates an army called the Ten Rings and spends centuries conquering kingdoms, overthrowing governments, and shaping history from the shadows. For thousands of years, he's constantly chasing power and wealth. One day he hears about another possible source of power, a hidden village called Talo, said to be deep inside an enchanted forest where people practice ancient martial arts and mythical creatures roam the land. Wenwu sets out with his men to find it, but the forest is magical and confusing. During the search, their vehicle crashes into a ravine. The others are helpless, but Wenwu survives thanks to the rings and keeps going until he meets Ying Li, the guardian of Talo. He demands she show him the village, but she refuses, saying someone like him doesn't belong there. The argument quickly turns into a fight. Surprisingly, Ying Li defeats him using the mystical techniques of Talo. Despite starting as enemies, something unexpected happens. They fall in love. They eventually marry and have 2 children, Shang-Chi and Xiaoling. For the first time in thousands of years, Wenwu has a real family. He gives up his violent life, locks the rings away, and chooses peace. One day, young Shang-Chi asks his mother how she managed to defeat someone as powerful as his father. She explains that the people of Talo are blessed by the great protector dragon, whose magic gives them incredible abilities. Then she gives Shang-Chi a pendant and tells him that if he ever feels lost, it will guide him back home. For a while, the family lives happily, but one day, while Wenwu is away, members of the Iron Gang attack their home seeking revenge for a past conflict. Ying Li sends her children inside and faces them alone. By that time, she had given up her powers to live a normal life, so she can't defend herself and is killed. When Wenwu returns and sees her body, he is completely shattered. Consumed by grief and rage, he puts the rings back on and launches a brutal campaign of revenge. After that, he begins training Shang-Chi in martial arts from a very young age, turning him into a deadly fighter. When Shang-Chi turns 14, Wenwu sends him on a mission to assassinate the leader of the Iron Gang, the man responsible for his mother's death. He tells his son it's both his duty and his right, and promises that when he returns, the 10 rings will rise again and the world will bow before them. Shang-Chi completes the mission, but instead of going home, he runs away to San Francisco. Deep down, he knows what he did was wrong, so he changes his name to Shaun and tries to leave his past behind. The story then jumps to the present day. Shaun wakes up early and heads to Katie's place. They've been best friends for about 10 years and now work together as valet drivers. One day, while they're riding a bus to work, members of the 10 Rings suddenly attack them. They're after the pendant Shaun wears around his neck, the last thing he has from his mother. He refuses to give it up, and a fight breaks out. Shaun manages to take down the attackers, but then Razor Fist shows up, one of the 10 Rings' most dangerous warriors, with a blade that can cut through almost anything. During the fight, his blade damages the bus, the brakes fail, and the driver gets knocked unconscious. Now the bus is completely out of control. Katie jumps into the driver's seat while Shaun keeps fighting Razor Fist in the middle of the chaos. At one point, the blade literally slices the bus in half. Shaun helps the passengers move to the front section, then pushes Razor Fist to the back, causing that half to break off and crash. But even after all that, Razor Fist manages to grab the pendant and escape. Back home, Shaun prepares to go to Macau. His mother gave the same pendant to his sister, which means the 10 Rings will likely go after her next. Katie demands to know what's really going on, and Shaun finally admits the attackers were sent by his father and now his sister is in danger. Katie immediately insists on coming with him. On the flight, he tells her about his past, but lies about one thing, claiming he never actually completed the mission his father gave him years ago. Once they arrive in Macau, they head to an underground fight club because the postcard his sister supposedly sent had that address on it. They take an elevator to the upper level, but Shaun gets tricked into signing a fight contract. It turns out the bus fight went viral, and the club runs illegal livestream fights on the dark web where people place bets. When Shaun enters the arena, he's shocked to discover his opponent is his own sister, Xiaoling. She's furious with him. Years ago, he promised to return in 3 days, but he never came back. Still angry, she beats him badly and wins the fight. Afterward, she demands to know why he's there.
What do you want?
Shaun explains
The Ten Rings ambushed us in San Francisco. They took my pendant. They're gonna come for yours next.
he thinks their father is planning something terrible, but Xialing tells him
I
that
didn't need you then, and I don't need you now.
that's when she realized she didn't need him at all and built her own life instead. When Shaun asks,
Why would you send me the postcard?
but she said,
I didn't send you this.
that's when he realizes their father set the whole thing up. Suddenly, 10 Rings soldiers storm the building and start attacking everyone. Xialing escapes with her crew, leaving Shaun and Katie behind. To get out, Shaun smashes through a glass wall and tells Katie they have to climb across narrow bamboo poles outside the building. She's terrified, but eventually agrees. As they try to escape, more soldiers appear. Shaun tells Katie to keep moving while he holds them off. While she runs, one of the fighters attacks her and knocks her down, but Xialing suddenly returns and saves her. Soon, Shaun and Xialing are fighting side by side against the soldiers. Shaun angrily says she left them behind earlier, and she replies that now he finally knows what it feels like to be abandoned when you need someone most. Together, they defeat the attackers. But then, the Ten Rings' deadliest warrior, Death Dealer, appears. He attacks Xialing, steals her necklace, and tries to escape. Shaun chases him down and blocks his path, and a brutal fight begins. Years of anger take over as Shaun remembers how Death Dealer tortured him during his training. He eventually overpowers him and starts beating him mercilessly. But just before he can finish it, his father suddenly arrives and stops him. Then he looks at Shang-Chi and calmly says that he's missed him deeply. They return to the Ten Rings compound, where the army welcomes them back. Xialing takes Katie to a room, and Katie nervously asks,
Is he gonna kill us?
Xialing shrugs and says if she stays quiet, he might forget she's even there.
That's how I survived.
She explains that after their mother died, Wenwu completely changed. He couldn't even look at Xialing because she reminded him too much of Ying Li, and since she was a girl,
I wasn't allowed to train with the boys, but I watched everything they did and taught myself to do it better.
Katie asks,
When did you leave?
and Xialing
I
says
ran away when I was 16, as soon as I knew my brother wasn't coming back.
later they all sit down for dinner. Shang-Chi asks his father,
How did you find me?
Wenwu calmly says,
I always know where my children are. Now it's time for you to take your place by my side.
Shang-Chi refuses immediately.
It's not gonna happen.
Wenwu then takes them into a private room and explains that after they left, the memories of their mother consumed him even more. He began researching Talo and discovered a hidden gate deep in the mountains where he believes the villagers imprisoned Ying Li. Neither Shang-Chi nor Xialing believes him. Wenwu admits he didn't either at first, until one day he clearly heard Ying Li's voice calling for his help. Shang-Chi asks why the villagers would imprison her, and Wenwu says that when Ying Li once asked the elders to let him live in Talo with her, they refused because they thought he wasn't worthy. That's what convinced him she must still be alive. He then leads them to a large hall. When he places Ying Li's pendant into the eyes of a dragon statue, water pours out and instantly freezes, revealing a hidden path. Wenwu explains that the road to Talo is actually a maze in the forest, but once a year, a straight path appears for a short time and he now knows exactly when and where. He orders the Ten Rings army to prepare. In 3 days, they will march into the forest, rescue his wife, and bring her home. Xialing asks,
And what happens if they don't let you open the gate?
and Wenwu coldly says,
We'll burn the village to the ground.
Shang-Chi tells him he's blinded by delusions.
What? You can't just march into our mom's village with this bullshit.
Enraged, Wenwu attacks both of them and orders his soldiers to throw them in prison. Later, alone in his room, he once again hears Ying Li's voice promising they'll soon be together again. Meanwhile, Shang-Chi, Xialing, and Katie sit locked in a cell. Shang-Chi says if they don't reach Talo before their father, whatever is left of their family will be destroyed. While talking, they hear strange noises nearby and discover a man named Trevor Slattery. Trevor explains that years ago he was hired to play a terrorist in a film, but the producer turned out to be a real terrorist. When Trevor acted the role, authorities thought it was real and arrested him. Later, Wenwu freed him from prison, intending to kill him. But after Trevor performed for him, Wenwu found it so entertaining that he kept him alive to perform for him every week. Suddenly, a strange creature appears, and Shang-Chi and Katie panic because it looks like it has no head. Trevor casually explains its name is Morris and that he can understand it. Morris tells him it used to live in Talo with their mother. Wenwu captured it while searching for the hidden path, and now it just wants to go home. Shang-Chi says he'd take Morris back immediately, but according to their father, the path only opens once a year. Trevor then explains that Morris believes it can still guide them through the maze, though it's incredibly dangerous since no one has ever survived crossing it. Katie asks the obvious question, how are they supposed to escape first? That's when Xiaoling discovers a hidden tunnel and tells Shang-Chi that Death Dealer already left the compound with one of the vehicles. Unfortunately, guards realize what's happening and rush in. They run through the tunnels, but the exit requires a fingerprint. When Ten Rings soldiers block their path, Shang-Chi and Xiaoling fight them off one by one. With help from one of the men, they finally unlock the door and escape. By morning, they reach the edge of the forest, and Morris guides them through the magical maze until they eventually arrive at a massive waterfall. They pass through the waterfall, and the water suddenly freezes, revealing a hidden path that leads straight into Talo. On the other side, they see a land filled with mythical creatures and eventually reach the village. The villagers don't trust them and almost attack, but Ying Nan, their mother's sister, stops the fight and reveals she's their aunt. Shang-Chi quickly warns her that their father is coming with an army. Nan explains that the people of Talo guard the Dark Gate, which seals away an ancient creature and its army of soul-stealing monsters. Long ago, the Great Protector Dragon helped defeat the creature and trap it behind the gate. Over the centuries, many people tried to open it after hearing a mysterious voice promising them what they desired most. Nan explains that the monsters are now using Ying Li's voice to manipulate Wenwu because the Ten Rings could break the seal. She gives Shang-Chi and Xiaoling special battle suits their mother prepared for them and tells them they are always welcome in Talo. The villagers begin training for the coming battle. Katie even starts learning archery, while Shang-Chi trains with his aunt in the same technique his mother once used. That night, he admits to Katie that he actually did kill the man responsible for his mother's death.
When my dad sent me to find the man who killed my mom, I told you I couldn't go through with it. I lied.
And fears she would hate what he's become. Katie reminds him his father shaped him into a weapon when he was just a child.
I'm gonna kill him.
The next morning, Wenwu arrives with his army, determined to rescue the wife he believes is trapped behind the gate. Nan tries to convince him it's a lie and that a monster is deceiving him, but Wenwu refuses to listen and orders the attack.
Burn it down.
As the battle begins and he moves toward the Dark Gate, Shang-Chi steps in to stop him. Wenwu mocks him.
Are you planning to stop me all by yourself?
Shang-Chi calmly answers.
I'm not afraid of you.
His father lunges at him and starts attacking, saying,
You were there when they came for her, and you did nothing.
Shan fires back while fighting him.
She was gone. We needed you. But you chose those damn rings over us.
He keeps striking and adds,
Even if you could bring her back, what makes you think she'd want anything to do with you?
Those words push Wenwu over the edge. He unleashes all 10 rings at once, blasting Shaun backward and sending him crashing into the water. Wenwu then turns to the Dark Gate, still hearing Ying Li's voice calling for help, and starts smashing it with the rings to break it open. Cracks form and Soul Eaters begin slipping out. Xiaoling warns everyone they'll all die unless they fight together, because normal weapons won't work. Razor Fist refuses at first, claiming the 10 rings don't need help, but then a Soul Eater instantly kills one of their soldiers by ripping out his soul. Their weapons do nothing. When another creature attacks Razor Fist, Xiaoling saves him and explains only Talo weapons, forged from dragon scales, can kill them. Realizing they can't handle it alone, Razor Fist finally agrees to work together. Meanwhile, the creatures carry stolen souls back through the gate to feed the monster trapped inside the Dweller in Darkness. Xiaoling warns that if it grows stronger, no one will be able to stop it. At the same time, Shan sinks deeper underwater. As memories of his mother return, telling him not to be afraid and reminding him that the dragon's blessing lives within him, he finally accepts who he is. His eyes suddenly open, and the Great Protector Dragon rises from the depths in front of him. Back at the gate, Wenwu keeps attacking while the others battle the Soul Eaters. Shaun rides the dragon back into the fight as it joins the villagers in battle. Ying Nan tells him,
You have to stop your father!
Shang confronts Wenwu again, trying to make him see that his mother isn't really there. But Wenwu refuses to listen, and the two clash once more. This time, Shang uses the technique his mother taught him and manages to pull 5 of the rings toward himself. The fight continues. Wu attacks Shan with all 5 rings, but Shang channels his chi and eventually takes control of them. Instead of hurting his father, he throws the rings aside. Wenwu insists he must save Yingli because she's calling to him, and Shan sadly says he wishes that were true. At that moment, the Dweller in Darkness breaks free and attacks them. Wenwu saves Shang with the rings, but the creature grabs him and drains his soul. Realizing too late that he was wrong, Wenwu gives the rings to Shang before dying. The monster then turns on Shang, but Xiaoling arrives riding the Great Protector Dragon and drives it toward the village. Shang seals the Dark Gate and joins the fight. The dragon traps the beast with water, but the Soul Eaters feed it more souls, making it stronger. It grabs the dragon and begins draining its soul. Guangbo warns the only weak spot is its throat, but he is killed by a Soul Eater during the fight. Katie is left with 1 arrow, even though she just learned archery. At the same time, the monster grabs Xieling, and Shang refuses to let go of her even as the dragon is losing its soul. At the last moment, Katie fires her final arrow straight into the creature's throat. The dragon pulls the monster into the water, and Shang jumps onto it, driving the rings into its chest and destroying it. With the creature dead, all the Soul Eaters collapse. The dragon brings Shang and Xieling safely back to shore. That night, the fallen are honored, and the dragon finally returns to the sky. Later, Shang and Katie go back to San Francisco and tell their friends everything, but no one believes them. Then Wong suddenly appears, asks if Shang still has the rings, and takes him and Katie away, leaving everyone else completely shocked. And that's where the movie ends.